The next form of intellectual property is trade secrets. A trade secret is any information that has independent economic value because others do not know it or because of not being known to others, and for which reasonable measures have been taken to protect it as a secret. So if we break it down, trade secret can be any information. It can be business information, financial information, technical information, scientific information, any information, provided that information has business value. That information gives value to your business in one way or another. And that information is not known to others. The moment it is known to others, it's no longer a trade secret. And finally, reasonable steps have been taken to protect it as a secret. Some steps have been considered as valid, reasonable steps under the law. One step is signing a confidentiality agreement or a non-disclosure agreement. If you sign an NDA, and which clearly states that this information cannot be disclosed, that is considered to be a reasonable measure, and the information that is protected by that NDA will be considered as a trade secret. Other measures are access controls, placing boards that certain areas are restricted, putting username and passwords, and so on. In fact, in one case, a court held that the LinkedIn contact list is a trade secret, right? So some of you might be aware, and I don't think LinkedIn has that feature right now, that once you are connected to a bunch of people on LinkedIn, you can actually download their entire contact details in an Excel. I think now they have limited that downloadability to some 100 or something like that. So at that point of time, you could download the entire contact list. So in one case, one of the employees took the contact list, went to a competitor and started using it to reach out to potential customers. They were not even existing customers, potential customers. And then the court, this first company went to the court. The court said this was information of the first company. This was something that you developed while you were working in that company, and you signed an agreement that you will keep all information and resources of the company as secret. So this becomes that company's trade secret. Though these connections are publicly known, the contact information is not, and therefore that becomes the company's trade secret. However, depending on the value of information that is protected as trade secrets for a company, companies actually take stringent measures. In fact, the extent of measures taken are directly proportional to the value of the trade secret. For example, Coke's formulation is protected through multiple measures. On the other hand, Coke's employment policy is not protected through so many measures. Right? So the nature of measures that have to be taken are normally variable. So we recommend to companies mostly that companies have to put effort towards documenting their trade secrets, classifying them, and taking specific measures to protect each type of trade secret or each class of trade secrets based on their importance to the company and its business. Now, when a person takes away a company's trade secret through improper means, that person will be liable for misappropriation. Misappropriation can happen through a criminal act, civil act, or a tortious act. Let's say you sign an agreement, an employment agreement with a confidentiality clause, and while you're leaving the company, you take some of the company's information and use it in your next employment with the next employer. That's a breach of contract, and you will be liable for trade secret misappropriation. Then there are certain relationships that are based on trust and faith. Like, for example, a relationship between a director and the company, right? It's based on trust and faith. Relationship between husband and wife, master and servant, employer and employee. Now, if one of these parties discloses confidential information by breaching the trust, that person will be liable for trade secret misappropriation. However, there are two actions that do not give rise to trade secret misappropriation. One, independent creation. If somebody is maintaining some information as a trade secret and you independently develop that information or come across that information, then that is not liable for trade secret misappropriation. If you reverse engineer, let's say you take You want to find out Coke's formulation, you buy a bottle of Coke, do some research in your lab and identify the formulation. That's reverse engineering, and that will not give rise to trade secret misappropriation.